All right. We're here.
We're here.
We're here.
We are the ones.
We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Avi, I cannot believe that we are finally here with this podcast. We've been hyping up people for so long. And
I know, and they're anticipating it.
yeah, they were really anticipating
how
this.
How do you think they're going to feel when they see these two?
Oh my
on the
God.
other side
I mean, we had to, like, if we coming out the box with the first episode, you know, we had to come out swinging. We had to, I think we hit him with the home run on this one.
Swing. This is like a punch. This is like a 1-2 punch here.
Nah,
this is almost
this
a
might be the grand
so
slam.
I'm excited about this.
This might be a grand.
I love y'all. All
Yes.
right.
They gonna have Buffalo mad at us because we don't have people ask us about podcasts.
This is true.
But no, we're so excited to be here. And we're going to get to our guests in a second. But Avi, I'm just so super excited to be able to start this podcast with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've been talking about this thing for a minute.
I know.
Yeah, it's just we're finally here with the We Are the Ones podcast because we are the ones that we have been waiting for.
We don't need nobody else.
We don't need anyone
else. God, but then other than that,
of course, that's the center. That's it. Everybody else is like, you know what I'm saying? So, but no, I'm super excited to be here. And you know, again, we anticipate being able to interview some incredible folks.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to have the very first one with our amazing guest right here.
Yes.
Listen, I had the opportunity to meet these guys. I don't know, what was it? About a year ago or so, maybe a year ago or so.
Yeah.
So they are now Buffalonians, you know, they're transplants, you know, from Texas, you know, and they came here and they have an incredible story. But I want to introduce Dr. Tye and Courtney Caldwell from ShearShare. Thank you guys so much for being on the podcast.
Thank y'all for having us.
Yes, we are so honored to be your first interview.
No.
Oh my God.
I already love your energy. Like when you guys come in, you could just feel that you guys are best friends. And I love that. So I know you guys do business very well.
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you.
And we want to talk about that too, because again, you guys have an incredible story, right? I mean, what you've been able to do with your business, ShearShare, the impact that you guys have been able to make, not just here in Buffalo, but this, you know,
from what I know, 850 cities. Is that right?
925.
Oh, come on, 900. Listen,
We are everywhere.
Woo!
And it's evergreen.
And it's evergreen. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's so amazing. You know,
fun.
So, you know, again, you guys have this incredible story, you know, of how you've kind of risen to the levels of success that you are. But I kind of want to go back, you know, because one of the things, and, you know, Avi just mentioned it, about just your relationship, right? It's the one of the things I love about you guys personally so much, just how strong you guys are together. You know, you guys are literally best friends. Yeah. You know, from the moment that you guys met, you guys have literally spent every moment together.
Right.
Literally.
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 Oh, you guys really like each other.
I really like
I
this
tell
one
people,
right here.
marriage is more than love. You know what I'm saying? Love is internal. You know what I'm saying? It's an agape. But can you see the person every day? Can you actually go through the storm? Go through the ups and downs? Because marriage is ebbs and flows. And, you know, one of the things I can say is that, you know, when we're around each other every single day, start of the day to the end of the night, tough times, good times, exciting times, sad times, and some of the worst times. And most of the time, if you're around someone you like, their energy level doesn't drop too far,
Right.
because you know you got a good partner to kind of stabilize you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we have.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful. I love it. Okay, so you do want to start with the story?
Yeah, I want to dig into the story. I want to know, like, how did the dynamic of Dr. Tye and Courtney kind of come, and who you guys are.
I love that
Absolutely.
because I think all the other podcasts we've done, they always start with ShearShare, and we stay on that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel anybody can look up ShearShare.
Yeah.
And I would hope that you do look up ShearShare.
And we're going to talk about ShearShare a little bit.
sure.
We're definitely going to talk
But
about
I
it.
think the backstory, that even precedes the origin story of the business, right? And so I think that is really where the magic happens. So, baby, you tell your backstory, then I'll tell mine.
She really loves your story. I love
do.
that.
My story is
I know,
my
I've
story
heard
is
it many
interesting
times, I
that
still love
I lived this story. So The interesting about it, I'm the 7th of 8 kids.
Oh, wow.
And I grew up in Arkansas before I moved to Texas.
Okay.
So a small town.
Right.
3-bedroom, 1 bath, 5 generations. So let me break it down. Great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, father, siblings. My oldest sibling had a child. Nephew. All grew up in the house together. So you talk about community, talk about a sense of love, you talk about sharing. Older folks say you got to divide. Everything you got to divide it.
Right.
And my grandmother was a generation away from slavery.
Wow.
So believe it or not, for 4 years of my life, my young life, before I moved to Texas, I chopped cotton.
Yes.
So
Really?
my great-grandparents picked it. My mom picked it. My grandmother picked it. That same land, generationally, we chopped it. So you're chopping the weeds from around it so that it can grow strong. So, you know, the sense of that mindset, that conditioning.
I love that. Yeah.
You know, you learn to say, hey, you know what? Hard work is easy. Easy work is hard. ShearShare is easy. We'll talk about that. Hard work is easy. You just got it. You just got to know how to do it.
Yeah.
But the easy work that people actually can see, that's hard.
What'd you get paid too, baby? You have to share the story about the man, the plantation owner, I can say, who picked you up in his pickup truck, and how if it wasn't cotton chopping season, he didn't even look your direction.
Go ahead and interview your boo.
I know.
Yes. So since we going there, let's just go there because I don't like to stay on it too long. But yes, we chopped cotton for this white man. We knew his whole family. Kids went to school with them. You could tell they were racist. So racism, I can see it. I can spot it right away. But he asked my dad, could we chop in his field? There were other people. So we rode in the front of the truck with him. And there were other black people in the back of the truck.
Yeah, black men.
And women. So he would pick us up at 5 o'clock. We worked till 2. So that's a whole day's work. And did that 5 days a week. $125 a week.
Wow.
For that many hours, that type of labor. Me and my little brother. And I think I was probably 10. He was 2 years younger. And we did that for like 3-4 years.
9 or 10
And
years.
when we didn't work for him, he didn't speak to us.
Yeah, he would drive by the house.
He didn't look
and wouldn't
our
even
way.
look that direction.
The only time he would wave is if my dad was outside and he would just wave like this. He wouldn't even look over. He'd just be like.
So
Sheesh.
in your household then, it was really important for you to really feel loved, because on the outside, you were getting sort of like a dismissive feeling, like if I'm not doing something for you, then I don't matter.
Got it at school, got it in sports, got it in the classroom, all of that. And so I was a great athlete, good football player, won my first state championship in the 9th grade, playing varsity ball. And you could tell that the coaches only paid attention to you sometimes when you were playing sports.
Wow.
When you were in the classroom, they wouldn't save you. If your classroom grades jeopardized sports, which was football season or track season, they would help you. Outside of that, they didn't care about you.
You're just a commodity.
Just a commodity.
Right.
The teachers, they wouldn't expound on trying to help you learn certain things. I actually almost hated math from the 9th grade up, because as I was trying to understand the foundation of going into geometry, the teacher wouldn't expound and help me. And she says if that back then they had what you call beta club. And I was like 0.5 points away from being in the beta. She said, well, if these 7 people who are in the beta club get it, the rest of you 23 people, we're going to keep it moving. If y'all don't get it, we're going to keep it moving. Racist white lady.
Wow. So then my question for you is, as a man,
That's a man.
excuse me, as a man to experience something like that, that can really cause your heart to be hardened. So what type of raising did your parents have to do to kind of combat that? Because now it seems, I would say you love your wife very well.
Yeah.
So what type of raising or comforting did your family have to do in order to kind of smoothen that out for you?
My mom gave us a phrase, and I still live by it to this day. She says, just nice to be nice. She says, you got to let people be who they are. And my mom is no longer with us 2 years now. And she was the reason, one of the main reasons that I became the man that I am. Sensitive, understanding, you know, being able to really understand how to move in the dynamics of the world, community, but she made me proud to be a Black man. And I was always proud to want to be married to a Black woman. So I understand the culture. You don't have to train our culture. We understand by our look, by our feel, by our touch.
Right.
You know, by raising of a hand, nodding of a head. So, you know, those things, we saw those things early on. So a lot of those, the things that I learned growing up in the homes, those things are now coming back to life. And so I know how to navigate when I'm in Silicon Valley, now that I'm in Buffalo, when I'm in Texas. I know how to navigate through certain things. And I think it's really about talking.
Yeah.
You know, representing yourself authentically and genuinely when you're in a group of people, not allowing, you know, I think you grow up sometimes and you get intimidated when you're around people you don't know, but I think there's just a level of uncomfort because you haven't been there. So just now being used to being in certain rooms with people, not limiting yourself and just saying, hey, you know what, I belong here.
Yeah.
And telling yourself that as you walk in, knowing that you're nervous when you walk in, knowing that you're around multimillionaires, knowing that you're around smart people seemingly, but at the same time, giving yourself an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Who cares? I'm going to go in there and be myself.
So because this podcast is called We Are the Ones, right? When you were picking cotton or even living in a house.
I hope I didn't pick.
Let's get that right.
It's
all tough.
I did the same thing of it, and he was so quick. I did not chopping. I chopped.
Excuse me. My role was to chop. Got it. Yeah. Okay, so doing that and also living in a multi-generational house. So I know you probably heard stories as well. What was it for you that said, I'm going to be the one to change this? Like what, you know, like what was that shift or what was something that you saw or something that you experienced that said, you know what? Nope, it's gonna start with me. It's gonna end with me. Like, what was it?
Curiosity.
Ooh,
expound on that.
That's good.
Curiosity. You know, we had a 3-acre yard, and around our yard was a lot of land. And my curiosity came at like 5. I would see when we had family members to travel from California, Chicago, places, and they would leave. Kids think like cartoons. They think as soon as they leave, they're at their destination. So I would be like, what's behind those set of force? So I would walk, realize there's nothing there. So always curious to see what's farther ahead. I think my curiosity led me to say, hey, you know what? I want to do better. I want to be better. So being the 7th of 8, even right now, I own the land, the home that I grew up in.
Praise
That's amazing.
God.
And I told my mom at 14 that I was going to do it.
Listen.
So it means something to me to be able to sit back and relish in the dream and to write it down. You don't know these things when you're young. You think that, okay, is this real? I didn't know that manifestation. I didn't know that I had the ability to discern. I didn't know I had the gift of prophecy. And I knew I was different at 12. And my coach told me, you're a leader, young man. You standing out from everyone. And you can influence your players. You can influence people. I didn't know I had that gift. It took me a long time. But I think what I learned the most of out of my curiosity, don't be afraid to dream big. And that's what I got from that.
How important was it for you? Because, you know, you talked about your coach and having other people around you that's like speaking like life into you almost, right? So how important was that for you to have those type of influences to kind of help you? And I asked that because, you know, my story is kind of similar, right? I didn't come from much, you know, and, you know, I was very fortunate to have people around me at a very young age just speaking life into me and seeing something in me that I necessarily didn't see in myself, right? And because they were able to speak those things into my life, I started to internalize those things. Like, you know what? They're right. My life is bigger than my circumstances at this time, right? And then that allowed me to start having vision, right? Yeah. And once I started getting this vision, that's when like my world just started to expand, right? But I think it started with those people around me who were speaking that life into me. So can you this?
Yeah, I think it's easy for us as Black men to negate to going left when you don't have anyone speaking life in you, when you don't have friends, a spouse, coach, a teacher, your family members, because we've been conditioned to be divisive, to crabs in a barrel, to quit when we fail instead of to pivot. So when you have people to push you, it gives you it's easy to think about a car when you're out of gas, you pushing it. There's a level of, it's hard to push when you first start, but then you get into what is called a momentum shift, where now you're pushing, now the momentum of the wheels turning is helping you kind of move forward. So I think that a lot of the people who were speaking life into me, it just gave me belief that I could do it. And I think you need that, but you first need it from who brought you here, and that's your parents.
Right.
And my mom and dad, my dad has a 6th grade education, and my mom had an 11th grade education. But you would have thought that they were the smartest people in the town.
Yeah.
And my dad, we helped him. He worked for the State Department, and we helped him pass the test. His kids helped him pass the test. We tutored him.
Wow.
And my mom, we had a 3-acre yard. We had a 52-row garden, so I was organic before organic was cool. You know what I'm saying? And we worked hard. So you learn that, when you see the fruits of your labor, you start to believe you can do anything. So it just became easy for us when we did hard work. So when I talk about chopping cotton, I talk about it as an experience. I used to be ashamed to talk about it, honestly. It was shameful. Because I'm thinking, okay, what are they gonna think about me? This country bumpkin guy, blah, blah, blah. But super smart. I was always the type of person to want to get work done quickly, fast, and do it at a high level.
Exactly.
That's who I am at the ground level. Even just cleaning up my house, I'm very meticulous. I'm very structured, and I want things to be done. I want things to be done a certain way. And even being in the studio, I feel like I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a green sofa, beautiful like these chairs, and it feels like I'm at home. So I think those are the things that really are a makeup of who you are, and you never lose that. When you come from great stock, and it's not just in your parents, but the foundation, everything else is easy. This life that we're living, even though it's hard, there are things about it that you can appreciate. Because I know what hard is. Yeah.
I think the one thing that I love, and then we're going to get over to you, my dear. The one thing that I love that you said is about believing, because I don't think people really understand how believing is so foundational, how essential it is. Because even when we speak about like our faith, it's because we believed that we enter into something. Like our believing is so powerful. So I love the way that you said that. I started to believe it once I saw the fruits of my labor. But if you didn't see the fruits of your labor at that moment, would you have still believed? What would have pushed you to still believe in who you were when it comes to you being prophetic and things of that nature? How would you have still believed if you didn't see the fruits of your labor in those moments?
Trying again, which in the world today we call pivot. You just got to try again. Failure is a necessary thing, and you have to fail. I think as we go to school, we're conditioned to look at life and look at success by grades. So failures of a letter, of a number, you know what I'm saying? That's not the real world. If you don't try again, there's not going to be a do-over in high school. You got to be a special student, miss school or something, and say, okay, I want to retake. You can retake life as much as you want, right? Because you can't keep going around this mountain and not learning. So failure is learning, success is learning, but you learn more through failure because it tells you about yourself. It tells you about, it's really manual data to understand how you can fix a problem, solve a problem, or go around to get to the real solution of it. And most people don't think like that.
And I love that you said that so our listeners can know that. Because I feel like some people, they stop because they don't see the fruit. But it's like, no, then pivot.
Try again.
So I like that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Courtney, Miss Courtney.
Miss Courtney. Yes.
You obviously, you are the better half. I would like
say that.
Yeah. I'm saying it for him right now.
The greater half.
The greater half.
I hitched my cart to the right horse.
Absolutely. So kind of tell us a little bit about your story, right? Because he has a very unique story, and his upbringing and such. Was it similar? Just kind of talk about yours a little bit.
She's the dot on the exclamation point for me. Go ahead.
So no, my family was a little bit smaller. There are 4 boys, 4 girls on Tye's side. There's 1 girl and 1 boy on my side. Right. So a family of 2. I'm the eldest.
Okay.
My brother, I would consider to be the genius of the family. He was one of very few African-American men to earn his doctorate in photonics and optics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he works with lasers, and I don't really know what he does. He can't talk about it because he works for the Army Research Lab. Okay, whatever you doing in the lab, I'm sure it's very, very important.
He's good at it.
He is. But I grew up as a military brat. My dad was a doctor in the Army. We moved around every 2 years, so you kind of had to become like a chameleon of sorts, right? Learning different people, different cultures, trying to find your way and navigate like the world. And I loved, doing that. So much so where when we had Trey, I was like, I don't think I want to move around every 2 years. I think I want to just have like a one home. Yeah, let's see what that feels like. And I'm glad that we did, although we exposed our son to so much. So I had my little brother, my mom, my parents were divorced. Our parents on Tye's side have been married for 62 years.
62 years.
60
Goals. Talk about goals, man.
Gosh.
Yeah, amazing.
I got 11 there.
Okay. But my mother was like my biggest cheerleader. And she was the one who, if she told me I could grow wings, I would believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still, besides my husband, my biggest cheerleader today. And, I learned something as an adult that I think my mother was training me for, which is your mind doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie, right? So whatever we tell ourselves,
So true.
wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, I have a busy day. It's going to be a horrible day. Or, oh, I'm waking up and I'm saying this meeting, I'm going to kill this meeting. Like every cell in our body responds to what we just told it. And so my mother always just breathed life into me. And so I honestly think that like optimism is a competitive advantage. And that's been a part of who I am. And I think that's what attracted Tye to myself.
Well, us to each other.
Definitely us to each other, because we see that in each other. And that's helpful. Like just going through marriage, it's hard, right? Going through life, that's difficult. And then starting a business together, oh my gosh. Like you have to be able to see the glass is half full. Period. And I remember, I'm going to take you way back to when we were going through marriage counseling. Yeah. And what did the pastor say to us? Do you remember? He said,
a lot.
It's a long session.
That's good. I know. He said, you guys have a positive set match, which means that whenever there's disarray, whenever there is chaos, whenever there is disagreement, you guys always find a way to come back together.
Oh, that's good.
That's very rare.
That's good.
That's really
and
good.
that is very true. That has lived out in our marriage and our relationship. But went to a military high school. Was valedictorian, was also senior class president and
Hall of Famer.
Cheerleader. Yes, my high school inducted me, first Black female into Texas Military Institute's Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah, very proud. Went on to do undergrad at SMU in Dallas, Texas, Southern Methodist University. Went on to UT Dallas for my MBA, and just always knew I'd be in marketing. I didn't know what specifically, but I'm so glad that I did. I spent 20 years in corporate America before we decided to start ShearShare, and everything I have learned over those couple of decades has fed into our business today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because I was a military brat as well. So I lived in Germany. And
I mean, how come I never knew that?
maybe because you didn't ask. I don't know.
We supposed to be best friends-in-laws. Like I've never knew that.
Oh, my bad. It just never came up. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Dusseldorf, by chance? No.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe I saw you,
but I'll say this though. Excuse me. Being in Germany, I was only around white people, right?
Yeah.
So then when I came back to the States, it was a culture shock for me.
Yes.
Wow.
And I really didn't know how to be around Black people. I didn't understand why they were loud. I didn't understand why do you talk that way. I didn't understand the attitude and the energy that they were doing. So I felt very out of place. Yeah. Did you feel like that as well?
I was always told you talk white, or or, why do you not like these things that we all like? Why are you so quiet? And I feel like I'm pretty, chipper and outspoken.
She snapped back when we got together. Cause back to me.
Filter. No, but yeah, I did get that a lot because I was used to being like the only chocolate drop in the room. And so my friends would tell me, you're strange. You're different. You're unlike other people. And I'm like, I'm just me. Yeah. I'm just unapologetically me. And thank God I never changed myself, especially in high school when you can truly be molded by the perceptions of everybody else. Absolutely. I'm so happy that I held true to my inner compass.
So did you hold true to yourself because of your mom, or was it the friends that you surrounded yourself with? Like what was it that held you true?
I think regardless of friends, it was my mother for sure, because she loved on me so much that I felt like I like who I am. You know, why would I want to change who I am? But my friends, for sure, I still have the same 5 best friends from high school.
Wow.
We've all had amazing
awesome.
different lives and experiences. But oh my gosh, like I can call one of those ladies up right now and they would drop whatever they were doing to come to my rescue.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your upbringing with your brother. Okay, so with your brother doing phenomenal, did you ever feel inferior, feel like, will I ever be as great as him?
No, not at all. I am a firstborn, you know, and a Leo. So no, I never felt, I was just like, that's his thing. He likes math and science. Like he would be doing at the age of 6, my math that I was doing at the age of 11.
Wow.
And he would understand what I would, and he'd be helping me, like tutoring me in math. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like this kid, his brain is just wired differently. But our son's brain is wired differently for numbers too. So I think that comes from Tye. But no, I did not feel like, you know, we were battling against each other. There was no comparison. I was like, I like this. He likes that. And even now, you know, like he always looks at me as the big sister who, you know, made it. And I'm like, if you knew what I thought about, you know, I try to tell him all the time how much I love where his life has taken him and his journey. But no, there's absolutely been no competition between the two of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with you moving around so much, you've been around different groups of people.
Oh, yeah.
And everything.
Oh, yeah.
Give me 3 words of like core values that's deep inside of you that you've taken from then all the way up till now.
I would say integrity, exhortation, and belief. Like even when we started ShearShare, Tye has this saying, he says, you gotta just jump and grow your wings on the way down. And I feel that, you know, being around different groups of people, so many times they are given that opportunity to fall down and fail. And nobody looks at them and says, oh, you're a failure. But if we trip over ourselves, people are like, oh, I knew you couldn't do it.
Right.
You know, just because of the color of our skin. Yeah. And so I think I had to decondition myself from the way the world looked at me, because I present obviously as a Black woman every single day I leave the house. But the world looks at me a different way. They assume so much about me before I even open my mouth.
Right.
But being able to fall down and get back up, I think that is a gift that we can give ourselves and to our children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The second word that you said, what was it again?
Integrity,
exhortation.
Yeah,
okay.
Going back to that positiveness again.
Okay, just in case our audience isn't aware of what that truly means, can you just define that for them and what that means to you?
Sure. Usually an exhorter, they say, is somebody who cheers people on. They're able to motivate and encourage others and pull out the best in people. And I definitely have the gift of exhortation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to now get into this fusing that you guys
the magic that
I definitely want to dive into
so
that.
Actually, I'm going to let you lead this.
Yeah,
because I know this was something you wanted to get into.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute because
I know. Go ahead, Jamil. You got it.
I love everything about the dynamic between you two. You know, you guys are, you know, when you talk about a power couple, when you talk about, you know, Black love, when you talk about Black excellence, that's y'all epitomize that, right? So, and again, y'all do it so well. How, you know, I was talking to Avi a little earlier and I was like, I really wanted to kind of dive into this because I know, you know, like I said, I've been married for 11 years now and I love my wife. Everybody knows I worship the ground this girl walks on. I can never go into business with her. You know, I can't go into business. Sally, I love you. You know I love you, Sally, but you know,
call me.
You know. So how do y'all make that dynamic work? You know, like first, let's before we get to that, let's kind of dive into like how the dynamic of you two kind of came together. Yeah. But then, you know, we want to start the transition and to talk about business a little bit and how you guys are making that work.
Okay. Tell them how we met, baby.
We met in my salon and barbershop.
Isn't that crazy?
Over
like,
20,
talk about a full
over 20
service,
years ago.
Full circle moment. Yeah.
So it was interesting. I saw her come in, you know. She was transitioning from a long hair hanging down her back. And they said when a woman is changing hairstyles and something's going on.
So change your life.
She did.
Is that what it is?
She did the big chop. So I seen her come in, and I was in and out. It was a quick. And then she came in again. I was like, man, this girl went from short to shorter. I was like, okay. She went to one of my employees in there, and I was like, okay. I said something about her. I said something about her. I just automatically, it's just a magnet. And I was like, when is she coming back? How often is she coming? I said she come every other week, maybe every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, when she makes the next appointment, let me know. I want to make sure I'm here. She happened to come an evening, and I was finishing up. So I walk in, she walked by, and I think I was finishing up a client, and I said, okay, well, she's checking out. Let me go outside. I had double pane windows where you could see in the daytime, you could see out, but you couldn't see in. And in nighttime, you could see in, but you couldn't see out.
Right.
So I said, go outside. I'm watching all the movements. She come outside. I'm just standing there.
Stalker.
I said, excuse me. I said, I told her my name, introduced myself. I said, I would love to take you out, And she was obliged, and then she agreed. And
that quick.
Yeah, I did.
Swapped numbers, and I think our first date was bowling.
Okay.
Yeah. We split wins, and
did you let her win? Did you let her win?
Baby, I really think I beat you. I don't think we split wins.
No, we split wins.
Okay, that's his story.
Yeah, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. And it's been that same. It's been together ever since.
Gee, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So, at what moment did you realize that she was it, and vice versa?
Yeah.
Like when did you guys realize that?
I realized it because I was not too far being out of a relationship, so it wasn't like I was really trying. I was really just glad to have someone who was just a common, girl who had a goals and positive exhortation, and someone who really just wanted to have fun. And that's really where I was trying to get into a space in my life, being an entrepreneur, building my business, learning a lot more about myself. Because when you're young, you're still learning about yourself. And I was very young. And so just having that friendship meant a lot. But I think probably after about 4 months.
Wow.
I knew.
That was pretty quick, bro. You knew she was the one, right?
I said, I'm seeing something kind of consistent.
Yeah.
I'm big on consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I was starting to see, okay, well, but I'm big on seasons of relationships. And seasons in the natural is what, 3-4 months?
Right.
But seasons in relationships, summer could be 2 years.
Yeah,
right.
Winter could be 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Spring could be 2 months. So I wanted to shift and figure out who she really was, So challenging us to go through different levels of emotions, challenging us to go through different levels of who we were growing into be, meeting families, the dynamics of spending time together, adjusting to who we are as people. So about 4 to 6 months, I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long were y'all together before you proposed to her?
We were together for a while. And I think one of the reasons why is because we wanted to enjoy each other. What was you thinking?
Yeah, without having to worry about being forced into something. We figured early on that I'm going to marry this man. I'm going to say yes when he decides to propose. And he knew he was going to ask me. And so, we have our whole lives to wait.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, especially my girlfriends, some girlfriends would put a date on it, right? And you're like, hey, you know what? I've been dating this guy for a year. Like, I'm in my 30s now. Like, it's time to move on. Either you know or you don't know. But I think we gave each other that grace, and that made it so much easier. Yeah, but
and you just know too. You just know when the time is right.
It was calm,
right?
And we were at peace with each other, and so there was no hurry up, we got to do this. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, so because it's kind of the same situation with my wife and I. There was a lot of pressure at first from the friends, from the best friends. There was a lot of pressure from the best friends.
I'm not looking over there. I'm looking at you.
I was like, clear the plane.
But we had to move in the spirit. We had to use that discernment to know when that time was right for us. Right. And when we made it happen, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's different I have girlfriends who have met people online and gotten married in a span of a couple of months.
Yeah.
Wow.
And have been married for decades, right? I know people who have dated for almost a decade, gotten married and been divorced in a couple of months.
Yeah,
so you just never know. You have to, the biggest thing for us is that we bring each other peace. No matter what is going on out here, I know that I can curl up in his arms or he just gives me a hug and I'm like, okay. In anything and everything, we can get through it.
And I think what people don't really understand is that you're going to go through the dynamics of all the seasons. You could go through all the seasons in one day. We coming up here, we have so much work to do. We have such a busy schedule, probably leading all the way to February, but we got to do this with you guys. We really want to be a part of it. And this is important for us. And so I think that what people don't understand is that, when the tough times are tough, you tighten up and say, okay, who do I have on my team?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's that fourth quarter mentality. You know what I'm saying? Can you really support each other in the tough times? You know, and, you know, I'm always, you know, saying something that may be of help to her, even sometimes, even if it's of help, it may be something that's really, you know, bothering her and say, hey, you know, I don't want to hear that right now. But at the end of the day, it's still support.
Right.
And they'll download it later. But at the end of the day, you got to be there and say, okay, I'm present. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're going through, but we're here with each other. And so going through those moments makes someone smile once we get past that storm. Yeah.
So my question is, do you feel as if there is a time when a couple should not be in business together, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that's so hard for me because I want like every married couple to like be in business together. That would be like my ultimate dream. And there,
Me and Sally gonna do it one day. I promise you.
Sally, call me.
We're gonna do it.
There will be something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, but I remember early on in our marriage, I was praying to God, and I would pray and pray, and I was like, God, I want for there to be something that we both work on together. I wanted us as a couple to always have goals that aligned. Like you always hear about people, especially like in celebrity drama, oh, we grew apart. Or, you know, whatever excuse is the excuse of the day. And I didn't want us to be on different paths growing, but growing without each other.
Right.
It's like,
right.
what is that one thing that you're going to give us where we're together all the time and we have to make this thing work? And God answered. And he was very loud about his answer. And we can't just do goals personally or spiritually or as a couple. Now we have to do them for the business and every quarter. And so we have to communicate no matter what. We have to communicate. And I love that because it's not just communicating at home. We have to communicate in the boardroom as well. And that constantly keeps our eyes on each other.
I think what people don't realize too, and add to you, thank you for that. To add to that is that people don't realize that God gives you to each other as helpmates.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You both have unique skills and gifts. That in itself should just marriage the two together to say, hey, you know what? We could do business together.
Right.
But the reason people don't do business together is because I think they're uncomfortable with the dynamic of what that looks like. You know, I think we're in an age where we brought a lot of the old school stuff. Okay, well, the woman should still be doing these things. Or I didn't like coming home and we both had different stories. It feels good to have the same story because we can stop at the same time. You know, we can stop this story anytime we want to. But I come home and I have certain stories I want, and she want to hear about. I'm like, I don't want to talk. I've been talking all day long. You know, she's doing something that's probably a little bit more marketing, a little bit more data driven. You know, you can only talk about that so long. But when you're talking about something that you both are excited about, it makes conversations better. You can talk while you're cooking. You can talk while you're cleaning. You can talk while you're eating. You can talk while you're about to go to sleep. Right. So I think that, you know, she brought unique gifts to my life with her skill sets, and she's super intelligent, super smart. She thinks through things a little different than I do. I'm a little bit more internal, a little bit more scripted in how I think about things and how I break things down. Because I see through things more so where she sees the outer layer. And so she gives me the opportunity to see through it. So it's been a lot of times we've been in investor meetings and she's like, you don't even talk. Let me talk. You gauge the room, you gauge the investor, and we come out saying, okay, see what you think. That's good.
I love that because the one thing that my spiritual father says, he says that God, and not saying that this is the only way he does it, but God give man the vision and the woman is the navigator.
There you go.
And so, okay.
Listen, I say this all the time too, and you know I'm big on this. Like
you are.
When we want something done, we want something done right. Put women around us, right?
Women.
And especially black women.
Yes.
Especially black women. Absolutely.
They're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always felt that I was, and I say this, and I don't want any woman out there to hear that I'm trying to put us down or put us in second place. But I always felt that I was like the best support staff. Like I was the best number 2. Just needed my number 1. Like, of course, I'm a leader in my own right. That doesn't take anything away from me. But I knew that once I found him, like it was like a Jenga game, just going, and everything connected. Yeah. And that's why this works. We both run in our own lanes, but we're both running on 10.
I love that you said that because I was going to actually ask this. Yeah. So right now in the divorce culture, I would say they talk about how women don't like the word submissive.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So
There's so much strength behind being submissive. Like, I don't have to worry. Okay, perfect example. When we were back in Texas, what was the name of that winter storm?
Uri.
Yeah, was it Winter Storm Uri?
So.
This was the first time I found out Texas was on its own grid. Okay, it was that storm, the big storm.
It's a good storm.
And everything, like electricity, everything was out. We had like rolling blackouts every 30 minutes. It was, and that was good.
Every
Some
30
people
minutes.
didn't have any electricity for weeks on end.
And we had a fireplace.
And we did have a fireplace.
Burning fireplace. Not a gas lit.
No.
Burning.
Wood burning. So Tye would go out. I don't know where this man was going to chop wood. I didn't ask questions. I did not want to ask questions. I just knew that he would leave and he would come back and the back of the truck would have tons of wood and he would put it in the, and so for 24 hours straight for an entire week, we had wood burning in our fireplace.
We only could sleep in one room.
Yes, we had.
The whole house was cold.
Oh my gosh. It was like sleeping in a freezer. It was yes.
Texas ran out of wood.
Yeah, the state of Texas ran out of
wood.
Yeah, but Tye
and the trucks were getting stuck, so they couldn't bring it in.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I don't know what trees my husband chopped down. Elementary school has fewer trees than it did before.
I told y'all where I came
Just
from.
to make it happen. Come on.
So I left one day, and I was like, we got to get wood. So I saw a wooded area where they were bulldozing down trees. So I was like, okay, some of these trees are, light. And I'm just gonna chop. I'm a saw and I'm gonna split. Mm-hmm. And this comes from when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem working hard.
Right.
And she was like, I chopped all this wood. She was like, you did? And I said, yes, I did. She's like, I want to go like a little kid. I said, okay, let's go tomorrow. Got her boots on and we went out there and I gave her the saw. I said, well, you go ahead and saw and I'm gonna split them. She get this in 3 times.
Yep.
I can't do this.
I said, no, bro, let me go back to the house. You bring the wood and I'll heat up the soup.
No, she said, I won't ask. Whatever you want from here on out.
Nothing. But that's the strength in that. Like we both have areas where we're supposed to help encourage and motivate and elevate each other.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm strongest. Like I always tell him, like, baby, your shoulders are wider than my hips. Like you can carry so much more. And I don't mind giving it to him. And he doesn't mind taking it.
Yeah.
And I don't, he allows me in his leading of our family and our business to be uniquely Courtney, which means that I can run in my lane. I can be 100% myself and I don't have to edit anything. And that works for us because that means that I'm being 100% me and he's being 100% him. And together, again, that's just like magic.
Well, you know what? I just want to commend you two because here's the thing about being submissive is that what the guy has to do is love the woman well.
Oh, of course.
And to also show her, babe, I got you, I got us. And even with you finding wood, that's exactly what you showed her. And then I commend you as well because you actually opened your heart to say, I really trust this man. So why couldn't I just go wherever he leads our family? So I love that. And that's what true submissive look like, is that you trust the one that you are leading and also that you're letting her be her. So that's also another level of trust of, you know what, he's really doing what's best for us and also having me at the forefront as well. Yeah. So I love that. And I commend you two for doing that so well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that women out there really are hearing what submissive means the wrong way.
Yeah.
And if we can be, a wealth of knowledge and an example, we don't have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So did you want to get into ShearShare?
Yeah, because my producer is giving me the finger, like, gotta wrap it up. Okay. But I'm like, no. So I had to hit him. I was just like, if we go over time, we go over time, bro. So, but no, I do want to make a transition because you guys have this incredible business that you guys built together, right? We talked about it at the top of the podcast. You guys are in 900 plus cities right now. You guys were able to make Buffalo one of your home cities. How did ShearShare come together?
It was a problem that we were trying to solve for ourselves. So we've had our award-winning salon for 28 years back in Texas. And we started to see like a shift in the marketplace where stylists were not wanting to sign long-term contracts, nor did they want to work by commission, where for every haircut or hair color that I do, I'm giving you, the owner, 80% or 70%, whatever you negotiate. And instead, more people wanting to become independent contractors and kind of own their own destinies, build their own small business on their terms. We're like, okay, well, this is weird, because usually we had a long list of people who said the next time that barber or that nail tech or that esthetician leaves your salon, call me first. Like, I love what you guys do for the community. You're entrenched in DFW. You give back so much. Plus, you're an award-winning salon. And so that list disappeared overnight. We're like, whoa, what's going on? And around this time, a stylist called us and said, hey, I know about you guys. I just moved my salon about 45 minutes south, and I'm deathly afraid of losing my clientele. Can I just come rent out your suite for like a Friday, Saturday? And Tye brought this conversation home to me, and I laughed at it. I was like, why would someone, was that a prank call, baby? Because why would somebody call?
I read that you thought it was a prank call.
And ask like to rent out our empty suite by the day. Like, no one does that in our industry. And thank God he is the most unemployable person that I know. He's a leader among leaders. He said, you know what? We're making zero money on that space. Let's go ahead and make some money.
My grandmother always says 0 to 0 is nothing.
It's nothing. 0 from 0 is nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Wow.
there's nobody in there. This
Right.
person wants to work there 2 days. I didn't know what to charge her. I threw a premium price on it because I have a hybrid salon and barbershop where you can come in as a new school graduate and I'll put you on commission until you want to grow and become an independent. I don't want you to have to leave. You can still be up under the umbrella. And so she had clientele already. So I was like, she just want to work there by the day. She didn't want commission. She didn't want to sign a long-term contract. I was like, she was like, how much would you charge me? I didn't know. I was like, man, so what's 300 divided by 5? So a premium price on there. I said, what do you need from me? She said, well, I would rather not drag my towels and take them back wet. I'd rather, do you have shampoo and conditioner? I said, okay, I can do that. Throw the premium price on there. I said, here's the number. I think it was like a little bit over $100. And just for 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours, she jumped on it. I was like, did I charge her enough?
You always feel that way.
At that first, yes, you were like, oh, damn, I could have got more.
So we had a great experience. One thing I think people forget is that we're in an industry where licensed professionals can work together. We don't have to be apprehensive. So I think a lot of salon owners were apprehensive. I was. Can she work in my environment? Can she? Is she conducive to fitting my culture? And so once I realized that my stylist was working with her and she was working with my barbers, she was kind of just conversing with them. I was like, man, this was good. So after a couple of days, she was like, man, I had such a great time. Thank you for hosting me. And she's like, but she came back the next day. She's like, I need to talk to you. She's like, I have clients that are in between here and where my new home is, which is about an hour. And she's like, I want to be able to help them out, giving them a location closer to their space as well. And she said, can you help me get into these salons? I was like, why are you choosing me? She's like, you're such a great host. She's like, you able to allow me to be myself. You had a great location. You had all the amenities that I need. She said, if I call a salon, they're going to question me and they're going to hang up my face. She said, another thing, you're a licensed professional, so you know my needs. You know what environments that I need to work within. You can help me and you can talk and kind of, gauge the salon owner and kind of, work out the price. And so I was like, that's a good reason. So we helped her out. She started every salon that she wanted, they accepted her. And she started posting. Her friends started seeing it. Other people started seeing it. What are you doing? How are you getting all these different salons? She was like, well, this couple is helping me. They're out of Plano. There's a salon in Plano, and they're helping me get in there. So I was telling Courtney, you helped some, and we were helping others. So we did this for 2 years, 2 to 3 years manually, helping stylists up to about 100 and something. And they all had our phone numbers. We knew their birthdays. And so it just became a full-time job. She's running Oracle's digital demand across 5 continents. I'm going to school to get my doctorate, write my best-selling book. We were just too busy. And so we was like, we're doing it for fun, but we're getting a little bit on the end just to help them. But it was just too much. And so we didn't know how to kind of split this up or what to send them to. We know that we're in the app age now where technology is taking over. You got Uber, you got Airbnb, you got TaskRabbit. And so I was like, Courtney, go to Google, see if there's anything that we can push them over to. I said, you know how to do these words, search words. And I said, tell me what to put in. So I put in some words and get nothing.
Nothing came
And so I was like, what would it look like if we built it?
Yep.
That's all I said. And I was like, I remember you working at Oracle and you going to lunch with this young lady who always talked about startups. So I'm assuming that's what we want to do as a startup. And so she called her and we talked to her for a minute and present the story on.
And here we are now in 925 cities.
Come on, talk about
to
it.
accelerate economic mobility.
Come on, talk about it.
Whenever, wherever, however you want to work as a beauty or barbering professional, we got you covered.
And I love that you guys have this hair B&B.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nicknamed us Hair B&B.
So I also love that I read that you guys also offer insurance for only like $5 a day.
We do. We pioneered that too. So first we pioneered barbershop and salon space to work out of by the day, by the week, by the month, however you want to work. Also, 2 years we courted Lloyd's of London.
Yeah.
They're the largest insurance company in the world. Talked to those guys for over 2 years. And we said, we need this for our industry. Give us professional liability insurance by the day.
Why is that? And why is that important? It's because you can't be a business without insurance.
Yeah.
Whether you're a brick and mortar, whether you're a business of one, whether you're a gig, whether you're a contractor. And I think that that's where we started to solidify ourselves, that we're serious about what we're doing because we lived it. And so I think that most of the time when you're trying to rent out a space, because barbershop, salon, spa space, that's real estate.
Right.
That's prop tech.
Right.
Tech, yeah.
And I think people don't realize, they think, oh, okay, I'm going to this barbershop and I just got this chair. No, that's real estate.
Right.
They're making money off of that.
Right.
Whether they're making money off of you commission wise, but at the end of the day, I don't own the business doesn't own the customer. The person that's doing the service, that's who they're doing
loyal
business.
to my hairstylist,
That's who they're loyal
to my
to.
nail tech.
So
That's
I
right,
think
not
that
the
most of the time
marquee.
people don't realize that once we solidify that we can actually own the marketplace with the insurance, it showed people that we care about them.
Yeah.
And owners say, you know what, if a professional's gonna come and they can have insurance, now if something breaks, I can utilize the insurance. I don't have to feel like, they're going to sue
risk.
me or we're going to have a terrible relationship and it all falls back on us. So we wanted to make sure we were solidifying ourselves.
That's good. I have one more question. So I saw that you guys actually want to move into beauty products on your app. Is
Absolutely.
that true?
Yeah.
So how are we doing with that?
And how's that going to work?
Oh yeah, virtual beauty supply store.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the Amazons of the world are trying to take over. They want to believe that. Hi, Amazon. They want to believe that you can get everything on Amazon: prescription drugs, food, dog food, meat, anything. What's so important in our industry is that we still have those relationships because we are a people-to-people industry. Like literally, our hands are in someone's head or on someone's body every single day, and so those product distributors are still have a very vital role in our industry. And so we want to be able to give them a place where they can continue to run their businesses and make money off of retail sales. But also, you may have a hairstylist who has a phenomenal independent product, but where are they going to sell that indie product? They can't go to Target and ask for shelf space right now. But guess what? They can come to the ShearShare app and get access to all the right eyeballs that they need.
And I love that because there's so many self-entrepreneurs that are into products right now. I mean, I really try to switch all of my products into Black owned. Yeah. So to have a space where it's like, oh, I know exactly where I want to go to for some good products for hair. I love that.
Well, and we even have the tags. Sorry, babe. We even have the tags on our app now where if you want to choose a Black owned salon or a woman owned salon or LGBTQ salon, you can do that. And so we're going to do the same thing for products.
That's amazing.
That's good.
Yeah, we know what our culture needs. We know what our people need. So I think that it's no knock to any other brands or any other, race of people, but we have to make sure that we're taking care of the people that we're servicing. And so I'm always big on organic. I'm always big on taking care of skin, taking care of your hair, taking care of your nails. And so I think that when we decided to put product sales on there, everybody now can go in there and say, you know what your clientele wants. Provide that product for them and you can just do it through the app.
Sure.
I love that because that is the epitome of we are the ones where you know what we need and you guys did it.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for being the ones
Thank
to
you.
do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we wrap up, because we're coming close to the end, but one of the things that I love that you guys were able to do was come to Buffalo, right? And you guys have really embraced being here in Buffalo and just everything that the city has to offer, right? So kind of talk about that experience, that transition coming from, this large market in Texas and, coming to Buffalo and, just how you guys just got acclimated to the place so quick and just embraced the culture here in Buffalo.
I'll go first. I think I didn't even know where Buffalo was.
Kid you not. I thought it was right next to New York City. I was like, why can't I find? Oh, it's over here.
When she showed me, I was like, way up there? I'm like, looking, we're way down here in Texas. We got to go way, well, not just New York City, we got to go way up.
Yeah,
you guys are at the end of the U.S. Before we get over
that
to
far.
Jersey or nothing.
This is the end. And so
Like, we're about to go over the cliff right now.
I knew that it was far. I knew that it was cold. I didn't know how big the city was. So when we first came here to visit for the 43 North competition, we were amazed. And we coming from a tier 1 city and then to a tier 2, maybe tier 3 city. And it was like, man, a lot of creature comforts. You know, when you come from Dallas, you know, big, they say everything is big in Texas.
Right.
A lot of creature comforts. But I think what we loved here right off the bat was just the hospitality. Oh my God. Southern hospitality way up west. I'm like, way up in the northeast. I'm like, this is crazy. And everybody, I was like, everybody's not like this. And so I said, I'm gonna test everywhere I go. So I'll go to the beauty supply, they were nice. I go to the grocery store, they were nice. I talked to a couple of homeless people, they were nice. I was like, everybody's nice. And I was like, you know, we're here if it's the possibility that we win this competition. If we win, we're gonna have to go and just kind of submerge ourselves into this city and see what it's like. So we came here one day on just a quick visit. Nobody knew we were coming. And we just kind of sat in the middle of Delaware, rode down Main Street and said, okay, it was snow everywhere. I was like, oh my God, I can't see like, we
came at the wrong time, man.
Cold. Come to cold, go back. So I was like, oh my God, we got to adjust to this weather, man. I said, but I like the city. Yeah. And she was like, you know, we can do it. I was like, yeah, we can do it. She was like, what you think? I was like, we're coming. And so it's that thing where, you know, when you're a couple and you understand the dynamics of how you think, she was like, okay, we're going to do it.
Yeah. And I think myself being a military brat, I'm giddy to be able to travel and get out. So I was like, oh my God, like we can move to a new city, new friends, like this is going to be amazing. And I mean, I always say the temperature in Buffalo is cold, but the people are really warm. And we feel that sense everywhere we go. Plus, I selfishly was excited to move to a place where the population of Black people is like 35%. I've never lived in an environment where the city has had that many Black people.
Really?
Oh, wow. And so I was like, yes, we are doing it.
And that's amazing too, because like oftentimes when people think about Buffalo, they don't think about, you know, us in that way, right? We have that many Black people, you know, they think it's just tumbleweeds and snow, you know, and the Buffalo Bills and some chicken wings, you know, so that's it. But not knowing that, you know, we actually are a majority minority city. I hate the word minority, but we're a majority minority city, you know, because of what the new Americans and things like that, you know, so culturally, we're super diverse here.
Very diverse.
Absolutely.
Like but there's a lot of firsts here. And I love the history. We're taking we're doing a lot of things. We're involved in a lot of the stuff in the community. We're actually going through Leadership Buffalo, so we're learning a lot of bit about the history. But I think what makes us excited about Buffalo is just the resurgence. You guys are doing some things here that most cities aren't. I mean, and so they've taken it for granted. So you get to see the city, you know, grow in a way where you can actually see the movement. I always metaphorically use a woman in her third trimester. You know what I'm saying? This is where this city is, and we're just excited and delighted to be here.
I'm so excited that you guys said that because it's this wall. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it says "Keep Buffalo a Secret."
Yes.
However, I don't think Buffalo's a secret because it's a lot of people migrating to Buffalo. It's something happening. It's
something in the water up here.
Yeah, it's something happening.
Everybody we know, we like
we're
always up here to Buffalo.
We're always one thing about us when we find friends, when we feel like a place, a people. A thing, an idea, a community is something that we want to be a part of, we're going to sing the praises. So we're constantly, I remember we were doing a roundtable discussion and the lady that was leading it says, I can't believe Texas let y'all leave. I can't believe Dallas let y'all leave. I was like, you know, I think it's always a time where you need to be birthed. Then you need to grow. And you need to go.
And you got to go where you're celebrated.
And I think we're celebrated here.
You guys are definitely celebrated here. You know, we love the, you know, just everything that you guys are bringing to the city, the energy that you guys have brought here, you know, and we see this thing happening here in Buffalo now where, you know, we are becoming like this startup city. We are like this energy, this new energy, like you said, this resurgence is just happening here in the city. I mean, we have a lot of people to thank for that, but it's people like you guys that we need to thank the most, right? Because you guys saw something, you know, in this city, and y'all saw something here that said, you know what, this is where we want to set up shop. This is where we need to like really kind of take our thing to the next level. And, you know, we just so grateful to have you guys.
It's reciprocal. Y'all guys chose us as well. So
seriously.
It's
and half our team members are here now. Like we transitioned a lot of the jobs from ShearShare here to Buffalo. Like
That's
we
amazing.
want people to fall in love with the city like we are falling in love with the city.
So we're not just here we're giving back,
Yeah.
and helping the economic upswing that the city is going through.
For sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I know we kept you guys way longer than
we're
expected.
good. We're good.
No, when the conversations are good, you just gotta let it keep going.
I know,
You gotta let it keep
but I
going.
know they have a lot of work to do. So thank you so much. for
We
being
really
here.
appreciate you guys. No, we definitely gonna have you guys back. Absolutely.
For the
No,
anniversary, like 100th episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, episode 10.
Because he has so much to still give. I know you do. Yeah.
No, this
You
has
wanna
been
close
great.
us out?
Yeah,
This was
this has been such an amazing conversation. We really appreciate everybody for tuning in for our first episode of We Are the Ones podcast. Make sure you follow us on all the social media at We Are the Ones podcast. Also, you can listen to us at anywhere that you like to listen to your podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. We are there. Follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Just look up We Are the Ones podcast.
Yes.
And we just looking forward to bringing y'all more dope conversations.
Y'all be sure to subscribe now.
Make sure y'all subscribe. Thank y'all.
And remember, keep winning on purpose.
Let's go.